Because like even this is giving the right cause to backlash, you know, against
in a sense,
us.
yes.
Yeah.
Those, no one changes their political feelings, I suppose, as a result of that. If you're on one position, you know, if you're in one position, you stay there. Ronald Reagan's staying where he is. I'm staying where I am. You know, we're not moving. It's just that's all. Yeah. I just don't like those people screaming for scalps when that wasn't what he was about.
Yeah, that's like the terrifying part of it is where the next thing you hear is it's not a tragedy anymore or grief or loss. It's a question of a handgun control and putting, you know, people to their death. And that's like, you know, hey, wait a minute, we didn't start that. You know, that's not, you know, what we're talking about. One of the things I want to ask you, speaking of the rise of activity in the right, while you were underground, it seems, and maybe because you were underground, the radical right in this country has risen out of proportion. And it's like much stronger than we had ever expected or anticipated. And what do you think of the Nazis and the Klan like being so bold and open? And
yeah. They do seem to be making a comeback. Yeah. Right. I think it's because you don't iron the sheets anymore. Back in the old days, they had to iron their sheets every night, you know, so they had rougher time appearing for burnings. But I don't know. 15 years ago, when I was in the South, the Klan was very, very strong, much stronger than it is today, in a sense.
But it
really
wasn't
strong.
Public image.
It had infected
Yes.
the police. You know, the police and the Klan in many of the states were one and the same thing.
That's true.
So I don't think it's gotten to that level where we have to, you know, all arm ourselves against the Klan. It's still but it is, of course, as you say, it isn't just a plaything. It isn't just a thing to make fun of. And I think the Greensboro decision more or less gave them a lot of license, you know,
to kill us.
Kind of kill.
I'm very frightened by that too.
Kill
the thing is, you know, it's just a name that people are reacting against. Why don't they call themselves, as John Lennon once said, while we almost called ourselves the Shoes? I mean, you've heard this a billion times at all these looking back on their careers. And, you know, why don't the Communist Workers' Party or the Socialist Workers' Party or any of those people call themselves the Shoes, and then people won't kill them? I mean, it's really frightening.
I'm not sure they called themselves anything but black, which is what they were.
I
don't know.
You don't need a
how you go about
right.
proving what you're a communist agitator. Right. Outside it was when I organized in the South, or just about any place, I suppose, you were an outside agitator. You're always outside,
right.
Which of course you have to be. If you were inside, you wouldn't. You'd be part of it all. So
that's true.
You're always outside.
I went to prep school. I hate to admit, in Maryland.
Me too.
You're kidding.
Well, I got kicked out of high school. There's no place that would accept me.
Me too. That's the same thing. I went to my place was, believe it or not, I don't know. I shouldn't tell everyone else, but one of our most famous alumni was John Wilkes Booth, who went to my school. This was West Nottingham Academy. And they tried to hide that from everyone, but it always got around the first week you were there. Oh, you know, John Wilkes Booth came to school. And they were always pushing people like Sheridan and, you know, like more straight people. But, you know, it would get around and there'd be like a John Wilkes Booth club and, you know, it'd be a whole number. And our group was mainly the people that had been, you know, like nobody else would keep them. And we found evidence of the Klan right in town in Rising Sun, Maryland, where I happened to be standing in the luncheon hour, I'll make this quick, I don't want to take time away from you, with the only black woman in the school who was a girl at the time. I never know what you can say if you're referring to a woman when she was a girl.
Young woman.
I call her name, Stacy.
Young woman.
Right, the young woman in question was with me at the luncheonette, and we were standing there doing nothing except listening to a record on the jukebox when the sheriff came in and said that we had to leave. And pointed to a sign which is in every place, it's so much so that you don't even notice. We reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. And like we really put up a stink. And I, of course, was the only Jew in town and she was the only black, so it was a little bit obvious. And every time there was a particular Klan meeting, she and I were told that it would be best if we went home for the weekend.
Wow.
But like,
got
yeah,
an-
so it was very active.
You got
But
an
there was
education,
no
right?
public image, you know? There was no public image then in 1963, 64, of them,
Yes. Yes, they were. In fact, I think there was a movie called Secret Warning, or it was all secret.
Yeah.
It was a secret conspiracy, the Klan. Now it's pretty open.
Yeah.
They have
And they had a lot of people who, for either journalistic reasons or judicial reasons, have gone undercover and been part of and are now surfacing after 10 years and things like that. Which I never know whether to believe somebody after they surface out of something like that. Oh, sure, you weren't a part of it, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.